What up?
Yo, hold on. So I'm about to record this. Hold on.
You got it.
So just click. You clicked it.
Yes, sir. What's up, bro?
How you doing, man? So listen, we're gonna get right into it because we only got a few. I want to let you know. Okay, so when you first came out with your book, Crush It.
Yes.
Right. I was in prison. I did 10 years in prison. And I think it was around 2009 or 2010 when I found your book. They actually have like little things that you can purchase books from.
Okay.
And I saw your book, and I just read the outline, and I bought the book because I was doing everything to prepare for my time to go home. So I knew the internet was a big thing, and I wanted to get to know about it, right? So I had read about you in an article somewhere, and I bought the book. So I read the book, and that book really, like, you know, I really dig that book.
Thank you.
Know what I'm saying? And it definitely
hit you?
It hit me because I really didn't know the internet the whole time. You know what I'm saying? After your book, I mean, when I read it, it made me see, like, you know, about creating your own content, about being your own brand, about just making content that's true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And one of the main things that I got from you was just caring about, you know, about what the other people, the people that your customers, right?
Yes.
So, and since I did that bid, I read 2 more books. I read Jab, 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 Right Hook,
Yep.
and I read GaryVee. I thought Jab, 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 Right Hook was a really good book.
Good.
And when I came home, those books gave me insight on the internet, right? So I had no idea what the hell I was doing with the internet, but I had a book, and I had all these notes with what I took from your book, and I've been implementing it, right? So even to this day, you know, I don't really it's in the back of my head, just creating content that's gonna fit within, you know,
the platform,
you know, the platform and all that, and those things are instrumental to what I do now. And I'm not saying I'm the biggest dude, but
you're making shit happen, bro. Like, you know how hard it is to get to even the place you're at right now. Like,
I'm trying my best.
You're succeeding, and it's because you figured it out. And man, you can't even imagine listening to those words, like how much happiness my heart's filling up with. Thank you so much for starting this call with that.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you that because that's how I learned about you, and I know I put a lot of people in prison on to your books and stuff like that, and people like that, we don't have internet, and those books really help us understand what's going on out here. And I want to start the call with thanking you. So I have a few questions. Like, me as an artist, right? And
yep.
You know, I'm making leeway, I'm making headway, and I've done, you know, a lot. Like, what type of suggestions would you have for me?
Well, let's work backwards. At this point, because you've made certain things already happen, what are short and long-term goals? Like, you know, like what would you like to happen?
Well, I just want to keep on doing what I'm doing, but I want to do it bigger.
That makes sense.
Like, I want to just do it in a bigger sense and just cast my net wider and just.
So couple things you'll like this. Like, it's kind of like working out or like eating properly. Like, ironically, not a lot changes. It just becomes, you know, you're getting the results of putting out the work. Literally, you're one day away from a video or a piece of content really changing the outcome of the growth. But the reality is, even if you don't have something go bananas, the reality is that 1, 2, 3 pieces of content a day keeps putting another block, right? You know, like, the way you get a real muscular body is by putting work in the gym every single day. There is no shortcut. So let me ask you this. How often are you posting on Instagram?
I post like 2-3 times a day.
So to me, one of the things to just debate is it 4, right? Like, is it actually just 4? Because the reality is, for me it's 4, by the way, that's my number. And, you know, I always think about, should it be 5? You know, like, so that to me is one place where to answer your question directly, you can get bigger by putting out more content. The other question becomes, what other things are you putting out? So where are you? Obviously, I see what you're doing on Instagram. Where are you when it comes to LinkedIn or Twitter or podcasts or things of that nature? Where are you on that?
Well, I'm hello?
Yeah, sorry, alarm went off. Go ahead.
Where I'm at is at Instagram and YouTube. But see, me being, I didn't grow up using this stuff. So just me handling Instagram alone is like, you know, it's crazy for me, right? And Instagram and YouTube, and I come from prison, so we're not used to like really opening our.
I get it. I get it.
For me to even do this much,
I get it. You know, it's funny. You'll appreciate this. You know, I was born in Russia, right, and grew up in a household with two parents that lived their entire life in Russia, and like the last thing you do in communism is share. So I understand the concept of, even for me, like it was a process as an extrovert. You know, like it was a process, but the reality is you're doing it, right? Like what's cool about you, for me, in the way you're talking right now, is when, you know, but I'm from prison, I didn't grow up with this stuff, we don't share, is normally what people say when they're not doing anything. The fact that you're already doing, now it's just chipping away daily. Like, listen, you need to be doing Twitter. I'm telling you right to your face, it's gonna work for you and your style of content. Like, I honestly think you should be putting out content on LinkedIn about one thing specifically: how to be successful when people re-enter the world from prison, and how companies can be using those. That level of adversity is actually a remarkable advantage if it's manifested properly, right? So I think there's places that you have permission to go to that I can't go to. You know, I can't, from a first party point of view, talk about what it's like or what my thoughts are. I don't have enough context about what's happening in that system. So the answer to your question is more. 4 times a day on Instagram and Twitter. And I know you didn't grow up using it, but you figured out how to use Instagram, you're gonna figure out how to use Twitter, you're gonna figure out how to post on LinkedIn. That's just real. That's who you are. You've already proven it.
That's good. That's good. I mean, all right, so one more thing, right?
Please.
People that's coming from, like, you know, not just prison, because, well, like places like that. People
Adversity.
Adversity, right? What would you suggest for people like that? People that just feel like the world is just like against them, and every time they try, they just run into a wall. And because that was me for a long time. Like,
of course.
Every decision I made, I ran into a wall. I failed. Everybody gave up on me. You know what I'm saying? What type of advice, or what would you say to people like that that's just, you know, just trying to find their way?
A couple things come to mind. Number one, people have to flip the script. So one of the reasons a lot of people hit adversity time and time again is, number one, they want shit too fast. And even the way you just reacted in your face, it just hit me, because I'm like, he knows, because you lived it. People want success too fast. They want to close their insecurity fast, so they want to show they're flashing, they're successful, so they get caught up in shit. You know, caught up in blue collar, white collar crimes. I'm seeing all sorts. This has been a crazy week for me. People embezzling money, people doing dumb shit, like all sorts of stuff going on in my world. And I'm just like, man, people just want shit too fast, and then it gets them into bad. So number one, straight up, if you're listening right now, like, do you want to be successful too fast because you want to prove to everybody that you can make it? Now you're putting yourself in a bad spot. You're cutting corners. You're cheating. You're just like in a bad mind place. That's number one. Number two, and this is what I did. Mine's a little bit different, because I was always kind of patient, because I really didn't give a fuck about what other people thought, which was really the framework. But to me, what I'm trying to figure out, and I don't have the answer to this yet, but I like adversity. I don't know what else to say. Like, I really like losing. I like when people think I'm dumb. I like when people think it's stupid or I'm wrong, or like when one of my side businesses fails, they laugh at it. I've turned it into kind of like this twisted thing where like the adversity is exciting to me. Like I'm weird. I am. Like, I like when people write me off or I can't. Like, I thrive on that. And so I think that's because I actually don't care about what other people think. So like I'm trying to figure out how to get people to see that, which is if you fail, like your side hustle fails, your business fails, your rap career fails, your basketball career fails, your relationship fails, if it fails, you're upset about that. But what most people get caught up in is they're more upset about what people are saying about their failure than what they actually feel about that failure.
That's real.
It is fucking real. And so like, how to get people to think about that? Like, I'm just trying to get people to understand like nobody else's opinion matters because straight up, they fucking suck at something else too. When people laugh at me or clown on me or underestimate me, I'm always saying to myself, I'm like, but you're not good at that, or you're not good at this. Like, everybody sucks at something. And so I don't put somebody else's, I put no other man's words above my own. Now what's interesting is, I had an interesting childhood in the fact that what I think my mom did incredibly well was she loved me and built self-esteem, which is a big factor here. But I also think another thing is, I don't think the world owes me anything. Like, I expect everything.
That is so big right there. That's big. I heard you say that before, and that's big because I feel like a lot of people coming from prison, coming from places like that, they feel like people owe them something. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why they recidivate. You know what I'm saying? They go back to prison or they go back to doing something because they have this bitterness that they feel like somebody owes them something. People don't owe you shit. You know what I'm saying? People don't owe you nothing, and you owe it to yourself for you to get whatever you got. So a lot of people be feeling like, oh, I'm such a gangster. I did this. I didn't snitch on nobody. I was in prison and I did this. I held my head tall. That's perfect. That's like kudos to you. Like, that's stand up, and being a stand up man is your foundation, and that's great. But nobody owes you for that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, you said something real important. Both my grandfathers spent significant time in Russia, right? And my mom's dad, my grandfather, spent 10 years in jail. And
wow.
and straight up, like, he didn't snitch anybody out, right? And I never really got to know him. Like, I did know him, but I was too young. I was 1, 2, and I left when I was 3, so I don't remember him. But my pops is like this too, from the old country. Like snitching someone out is just completely unacceptable. Like, completely. And if you gotta go to prison for a couple years, like, that's what you do. However, as I've grown up in that Eastern European, like, hood kind of system as a kid, there was always 2 different people I saw in my uncles and my Russian friends and all these dudes that had tattoos that came from prison. Everybody was in fucking prison if you were Jewish in Russia. And there was 2 things. There was the guys, just like you said, who when they came out, they expected everybody who they didn't snitch on to put them on forever. And the other guys who came out and they didn't snitch for themselves. That was their pride. They didn't expect anybody else. And the difference in the last 30 years of happiness and success on those 2 groups of people are remarkable. Videos to see. I'm still here. Can you hear me? I see your video cut off for a second.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you 100%. My service is the same, which is interesting.
Basic.
I can hear you, bro. I'm staying on.
Yeah. So basically, because they didn't.
Yo, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so basically I kind of lost you on what you were saying in terms
my main point for everybody is if you didn't snitch on anybody, you're doing that for yourself. And to your point, you can't live life expecting somebody to do something for you because you're going to be constantly upset. Like, the reason I give, and I never give with expectation. And if somebody gives back, I'm happy. But if they don't, I don't expect it, which means I'm not upset. Can you move up a little bit, sir? Thank you. Hoping to get a better spot. Damn. That's a great call.